Kobe, I know that your eyes are brown, but in the light, they're like a hazel brown. And then if you look even closer, there's little green spots in them. That's what I love the most.
So, I would have just been okay with brown.
uh, what's going on, guys? My name is Barry,
This is Colby.
and this is Who Watches It.
Music.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the second week of comeback rejuvenation month. I don't know exactly what to call it, but I guess like a comeback month, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, and today is funny. I feel like today is like a funny pick because it's hard to I feel like it's hard to look for actors that just aren't that the movies that they come back in aren't just huge blockbusters, right? Like you have RDJ coming in with Iron Man. You have Kihi Kwan coming with everything everywhere everything everywhere all at once.
Right.
How do you exactly do this month of actors coming back from obscurity into sort of the forefront of being a star again?
Right. Yeah, because we're the whole goal of this show is to give some love to the less known, the underrated
obscure
movie. Yeah.
Oh my God,
we've done a couple blockbusters, but yeah, that's.
You're pretty much giving me the same speech that one dude from Stranger Things, Joseph Quinn, is that what his real name is? Eddie.
Yeah.
He's like, we're the group of the obscure, the unappreciated.
Yep.
Pretty much the same speech in every season, except just from a different person, right? And,
because if we wanted real money, we would do all the big hit movies that everybody would want to listen to the podcast about. But no, this podcast is for our 7 regular listeners.
I know, we need 1,000 so we can start getting some ads.
It's a little ad revenue.
Yeah, a little ad revenue. Come on, guys, tell your friends about us. But
we did Amazon for a little bit, and Amazon was like, the only 2 people using your Amazon link are the 2 of you, so we're going to take it away.
That is against the rules, guys. But no, today we're doing one who, it's a nice one because this actress has, I think, the most popular at-home workout video ever. You know what I mean? Maybe Susan Sarandon or Suzanne Summers with the thigh blaster was a hot contender for her. But
right.
I think she's still the queen of the at-home exercise.
Yeah.
So let's get to our first section where we do our Rhymefest trailer. And today, it's I don't know. Let's see how it goes. No family or real direction. She wanders aimlessly with no real intention. Until one day a guy comes along who's a doctor and might have a nice schlong. The only problem is the mother is a witch. So fights abound with a clenching jaw. Let's find out who this mother is in 2005's Monster-in-Law. Yes, we're going to be talking about the 2005 film Monster-in-Law, starring Jennifer Lopez and returning to the silver screen, Jane Fonda. Now,
I love it when you real quick before we start. I love when you're Dr. Seussing and you can and you can work the word schlong into it.
I was like, I was doing this at work, and I was just like, I don't know where to go with this one. But it's funny, right? Like, so I don't want to like age Colby up, because obviously he wasn't using these Jane Fonda workout videos.
My mom had the Jane Fonda workout, and I did it with her. Not often, but occasionally. Yeah.
Right? Like the late 70s and the 80s.
Yeah.
Pretty much was working out at home was super popular, right? In front of the TV.
Oh, right. It was Richard Simmons. It was Jazzercise.
Right.
And you had the Jane Fonda workout. Like, Jane Fonda and Richard Simmons were like the two who battled for at-home workout supremacy.
Oh, right. And Richard Simmons was like one of the first big gays. Like, in the 80s?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard being gay in the 80s. AIDS just came out. I say that like it's a movie release. No, it's not funny. My uncle, who was a gay in the 80s, passed away from AIDS.
Oh.
But like now it's like it feels like AIDS isn't as big as it was. Like, I mean, obviously people still get it. But it's much more manageable now. At least that's what the commercials say. Until they hit you with like the 5-second rundown of all the side effects that's possibly tied with the medicine that they're releasing. But you had little Suzanne Summers in there with her thigh blaster, which was like another stocking stuffer back in the 80s. Is that what could you call the thigh blaster a stocking stuffer?
My mom had that too.
She's like, these thighs are going to be so jacked. But yeah, no, so Jane Fonda was a huge icon in the 80s. But she did stop her career at 1990 when she got married, wanted to focus on her marriage and her children. And then she got divorced around 2002, 2003. And was like, all right, I could have I'm going to have a career again.
Yeah.
Now
it's so funny because like I knew her as the workout person, and I didn't even know she was an actress.
And I gotta
say, until like later, and I was like, oh, she was in movies and TV shows and stuff.
But I gotta say, she got the chops.
Right.
Like I knew her as an actress. I knew she had the workout videos, but I was like, oh yeah, Suzanne Summers had workout videos too. So like all the hot chicks in the 70s and 80s had workout videos.
Right.
But no, like her acting in here kind of reminded me of gosh, who's that lady from Devil Wears Prada? Meryl Streep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know. I was like, oh yeah, she's a legit actress too. She's always playing like the mean
Meryl
lady.
Streep never had a workout video.
Oh, well, Meryl
at least
Streep,
not that I know of.
Well, I mean, she had Kramer versus Kramer, which gets used in a lot of parental disputes, right? So different workouts.
Yes. Yep.
But no, this is during the time where J-Lo was having all these type of movies, like Made in Manhattan. She had Gigi, which is like one of the worst rated films ever in history. Yeah. But she was having a ton of like these little rom-com situations. And then even like the son or like the boyfriend in this movie, he was in the only movies I know him is like Now This and Never Been Kissed with Drew Barrymore, who also was possibly one of the comeback movies. And I would say Charlie's Angels, but I was like, no, Never Been Kissed. I feel like it doesn't get talked enough about. But we also have a young Adam Scott.
Right.
I was like, holy shit, Adam Scott's in this fucking movie. And Wanda Sykes, who I actually absolutely loved in this movie. I thought
I
she
was right, and
amazing.
this would have been really early in her career.
Hmm. But like an amazing comedic timing for her in this movie.
Oh yeah, yeah.
She was always like really funny when she came in this movie. But like let's get to talking about what this movie's about, right? This movie starts off with J Lo. She's designing some dress, and it seems like she's a designer in California. She must be so good. But then Adam Scott comes in and he's like, "Hey, I'm in your fucking house." Then she's like, "You're supposed to only use the key in emergencies." He's like, "Yeah, I was having a caffeine emergency." This
I
is
was out of coffee.
this is what would happen to you, Colby, if I lived upstairs. It was like I was having a cheese emergency.
That drawer stays locked.
Yeah. That's cheese. Colby has a cheese drawer, instead of a liquor cabinet, he has a cheese cabinet. But yeah, no, like, and then she's like, "Hey, it's a slight, like, little, just like obviously living in this amazing fucking area of California that she shouldn't be able to afford."
I was
Right?
Oh, yeah, it was already 2000, so she probably already couldn't afford it. I was gonna like, if this was an 80s movie, then yeah, probably.
Maybe, right? But no, like, so like we see she has a little routine. She picks up a whole bunch of dogs to dog walk, and she dog walks them in, like, I don't know, Manhattan Beach or something like that, Malibu. I don't know, some obscure, only like you could only live type of area. And she, like, she's like kind of sketching, and she all of a sudden locks eyes with a guy who's doing a little nice run on the beach.
Right?
And
Yep.
then she's like, "Oh, well, he was cute." And then she goes, like, later she goes to a coffee shop, and there's like this exceedingly rude gay, and like he kind of like a 20 drops from his wallet. Because he's like, it's this is supposed to be like, this is supposed to be non-fat milk in here.
I could taste the fat in it.
He's I could smell the fat. He's like, there's a disturbance in my waistline. um, but like as she's backing out of the coffee shop, because she puts the $20 in her tip jar, in this like poor barista's tip jar, she
Yeah.
backs away and she like runs into like beach guy. And he tries to like have a little conversation, but he's like, bye. She seems very flippant about maybe pursuing a love life.
Right, which is interesting because she kind of had made the comment to her neighbor friend about not being able to find love, and then when she's on the beach, she's like,
Yeah.
making her little affirmations or whatever, and she's just kind of like, why can't you just put somebody like right in front of me so I know that who it is?
And then right in
and then
front
that's
of her.
when he runs by. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like no, but like she like she's having like I don't know, fucking tea time in 3 in the afternoon, because when you have a bunch of temporary jobs, you could just afford to have tea time in the middle of the day. With like your friend who's we learn is later a caterer, and Adam Scott, who I believe is an actor.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, this movie is still within the realms of impossibilities, because like you get an overhead shot of their home, and it's like
right.
a villa. It's a villa which I could only presume like each of them occupy. One's a gay actor in LA, so he's probably doing okay. And then the other one owns a catering company, which is okay, that kind of also makes sense.
Right. Right.
And then one is just working temp jobs. She's like, she works as a receptionist at Dr. Patel's office. She does all these dog walking jobs, and she's like in the middle of possibly designing clothing.
Right. Right.
But then so she Adam Scott and her go to help her friend cater an event, and lo and behold, Nancy Meyers magic over here. It's a freaking event for Doctor Guy, or Guy Beach Guy.
Right. So now it's 3 times in one day she's run into him.
Two
That's
days in 2 days.
in 2 days. So that's got to be a sign.
It is. It is a sign from the universe. You know, it's a. The spirits are telling her to check out this guy's schlong. But like she's like, oh, like she kind of walks over there with some shrimp balls, and one of the people are like, oh my God, it's amazing that you're able to save that person, and she's like, oh yeah, and they're like, the blonde girl who's next to the doctor is like, was she like really listening into our conversation? Ugh. But oh, also fucking Will Arnett is in this movie.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Freaking Batman's in this movie. I will still count Will Arnett as Batman because he voiced him. All right, we don't discount Kevin Conroy
That's
as
true.
one of the greatest Batmans ever, right?
So so true.
But no, the doctor is like, oh, I can't let this pass by. Like, and he starts to talk to J-Lo a little bit more, but then like as they're having a fun time talking after this awkward exchange about balls that are in shrimp and shrimp that are in balls, Will Arnett talks to, like, I think her name is Fiona, which is the blonde girl. She's like, oh, looks like someone is gonna plant their flag before you.
Right. Yeah. And she's very the jealousy. She's like, this
Oh,
was a cartoon. Steam out her
oh,
ears.
I mean, I get it, because it's like you probably been waiting on this guy to be single forever, and when he finally comes back to your city,
Yeah.
single, now there's like this beautiful, exotic woman that's possibly gonna get there first.
Yep.
It's like John Smith's like little thing. Like she was like, "Oh, John Smith's gonna come back from the Americas, and then I'm gonna fuck him." And then all of a sudden, he comes back with Pocahontas, who's like this beautiful Native American woman with long, luscious black hair and beautiful tan
I'm glad.
skin.
I'm glad. Like you're going with the Disney version. You weren't like, and he came back with this 13-year-old Native American.
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't want to go with that version because, I mean, while historically accurate, just not the version you want. But so like later on, like the night's going on, the events kind of going on. Will Arnett and Doctor are talking. Kevin is his name, I believe, and like J Lo's like looking at him, kind of gawking over him, like a schoolgirl type of situation. And Fiona's there, and she's like, "I know he's so beautiful, right? Such a shame that he's gay." And she's like, "Oh no!" She's like, "What?
She's like,
He's gay?"
I didn't get those vibes.
Yeah, she's like, "No, but him and Will Arnett, they're gonna get married in Maui, which is so beautiful."
And then him and Will are over like on the corner like broing it up because he's just back in from town. So they're like tussling and stuff, and she's like, "Oh, yeah, okay, maybe they are."
And so like Fiona like leaves, which gives her like her champagne, and Jayla's just like, I used to have such good gaydar. And so like the next morning, she's kind of like she's like in her beautiful second story apartment, and she's kind of like, oh man, I was just such a shame, he's a gay. Adam Scott is there. It's funny. Adam Scott's like the neighbor, and he's like, "What? Yeah." But he calls. He calls her and he tries to make plans. Like, "Hey, can I take you out?" Like, she's like, "Oh yeah, can you walk my dog?" And he's like, "Sorry, never mind. I don't have a dog. Maybe you want to walk me."
And that's where Will Arnett's like sitting next to him, like, no, just hang up, just hang
Just
up.
hang up. It's such awkward, like like awkward flirting, and J Lo's kind of like, what the heck? That's so weird. But she she's at the beach again with her dogs. Well, not with her dogs, but her dogs that she has to walk.
Yeah,
And Kevin's there. Kevin kind of sneaks up behind her and he's like, "Hey, I never got a call back from you, so I thought I would stalk you here."
Right. So I brought coffee to you. But yes, at that point I was like, that is it. That's
Yeah.
it's boundaries. You're pushing boundaries.
Well, like I guess like maybe he lives near the beach because he's a doctor,
Right.
and then he's like, well, I saw her here, so maybe I'll get coffee and I'll walk the beach. You're kind of just like trying to up your chances, right? It's not like he was like in
Right.
front of her villa.
Yeah. I'm just gonna buy an extra Starbucks and just wander the beach with it.
Yeah, which could be, if you're hot enough, it's cute.
Right.
If
Right.
if you look like us, it's stalking.
There was some comedian, some like girl who was talking about about like all these like creepy guys and like how horrible they're stalking you and they're like bothering you and they
Yeah.
won't leave you alone and they're always like hitting on you, and then all at the end she's like, it's just so gross. I mean, unless they're hot, and then it's totally fine.
It's
All that stuff's fine.
romantic, right? It's romantic when you're absolutely gorgeous. If you look like us, it's a concern.
Right.
But no, and so like, they laugh about it, and it seems like, yeah, they're gonna start a relationship. And then all of a sudden, jarringly enough, we cut to like Wanda Sykes walking with Jane Fonda. And it seems like, Jane Fonda is like a pretty important person. She has an assistant that's helping her. And she's like, oh, don't worry. The execs have to talk to me. Last time they did this, they gave me a huge pay raise.
Right.
And then, but before she can get into her office, like a young girl, a young woman is like, oh my gosh, Fiona, my grandma loves you.
Yeah, can I have your autograph?
Yeah.
My grandma loves you.
Which no one wants to hear. That, like, like we all know our age demographic, but we just don't want to hear it. We want to feel still relevant.
Yeah.
But when she goes in there, this young girl's like, or this young woman's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I met Fiona, and it's so crazy that the executives want me to replace her.
Yeah. Right.
Ooh. So, obviously not a great situation. The executives are like, well, we feel like we need to start appealing to younger audiences again.
Yeah, and so you get the like kind of the impression she's like a Barbara Walters.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, because we get a view of like all the people that she's met. She's the Dalai Lama,
right.
4 presidents, or something like that. So she's like, she's a pretty like, it's like half talk show, half serious journalist.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's a kind of like it's like she's like Ellen.
There we go. Good.
Pretty much, right?
That works. Yep.
But obviously, so she's distraught, and now she has to interview a very Britney Spears like character.
That was totally the feel I was getting off that as well.
And it's absolutely crazy the way this girl's dressed on like live daytime TV, because she has like sort of a cowboy outfit with the little tassels, but then in front and behind the tassels is just like her tit with nipple covers.
Right, little star.
Yeah.
Star pasties or whatever they're called.
And so like or Fiona is like trying to keep it together, but she's like, you're fairly young. You're very impressionable to younger audiences, and maybe you want to like start like caring about more serious shit, like Roe versus Wade. And what does she say?
She's like, oh, I don't follow boxing. It's too violent of a sport.
And when she says that, Wanda Sykes' character is like, oh, you better get that little girl out of there. And Fiona absolutely has like a psychotic break, and she lunges towards this Britney Spears type of character. And then all of a sudden we get a cut of like some sort of like mental facility for like rich people. And like her therapist is like playing it. She's like, I want you to watch the person that you shouldn't be anymore. And it looks terrifying. It's like when Fox used to have like when animals attack.
Right.
Like just like,
yeah, and so it was it like a 30-day or a 60-day?
Yeah, it's like 90
90-day, whatever, something, anger management.
And you know, and so Fiona's like, "Oh, thank God I'm not that person anymore." And the therapist like rolls her eyes. She's like, "All right, well, Fiona, please don't drink, you know." And so Ruby picks her up. Ruby is Wanda Sykes' character, and you know she's like being a little bit nicer to Ruby. She's like, "Oh, you still on drugs? Okay, let's go." But she's like, you know, she's like, Fiona's making these plans. She's like, maybe I'll take my son to Africa. He's always wanted to go, but I
Right. Oh yeah,
never.
because that's what she's like. Oh, I feel like that I spent all my life working, and now I have to like see what's the most important things in my life, and that's what's left is family. And so I've got one son. Maybe I'll take him on that trip that I told him I would take him to when he was a child.
Yeah, and Ruby's like, "Oh yeah, the three of you will have fun." And she's like, "The three?" She's like, "Yeah, you, Kevin, and his girlfriend." And she's absolutely kind of livid.
Right, right,
Girlfriend. And then like we kind of cut to J Lo and Kevin moving in together.
right.
I was like, holy shit, these people are moved. It must have been at least 90 days. It must have been at least
Yeah,
3 months.
yeah. So as I said, the 30 days, I was like, no, that seems way fast. Maybe must have been 90 days.
At least 90 days. 6 months even. Because they move, they progress, they start to progress pretty fast, right?
But if she's only a part timer and she's like, oh, I can move in and not have to pay rent on my dog walking salary, yeah, let's do that.
You never know, right? Because like we do learn that like J Lo's parents had passed away, so maybe that's how she has her villa, right? Maybe she used like the insurance money or like the 401k that they had to purchase that.
Or it could have been theirs.
It could have
And
been theirs as
just
well, because like you know he's like, oh, you didn't want to give up your villa, and she's like, no, it's fine. I'm gonna sublet it. You know, might as well extra income. You know, these fucking doctors. You know.
right.
And so yeah, like you know, Kevin's like, hey, like my mom wants to have a lunch. I want you to meet my mom. You know, I think it's gonna be great. It has to be 6 months, cause 3 months. I feel like 3 months is still too soon for what's about to happen. But
Okay.
no,
Maybe it's 6 months.
right? We don't. There's a lot of things that's kind of missing in this movie, and the time is one of them. But no, they go to the mom's house. She lives like in this huge mansion. It's like one of those houses that has its own like tennis court and basketball court or whatever
Right.
they have. And
And she even makes the J-Lo even makes the joke. She's like, "Oh, what? No helipad?" And he's like, "Oh no, that's on the backside, so that way the helicopters don't bother the."
the neighbors. And I don't know if he was joking or not.
Right.
But no, and so yeah, like they have like lunch. Jane Fonda's kind of like about it, but it's just like okay, whatever. They live together, whatever, right? But
And then they actually, yeah, they she seems to make a pretty good first impression for a
like yeah,
future mother-in-law. Yeah.
yeah, you know, because it seems like you know, like Kevin is watching them talk to each other. They're having a good conversation, and he's like, "Oh, this is awesome! Like the two women that I love the most in the world get along."
Right. They're hitting it off.
And that's as sons, that's all we want, right? as sons, that's
Yep.
all we want because Jesus, I don't want either one to make me choose. And so because of that, he's like, "Man, I want to spend the rest of my life with you." And JLo obviously taken aback, you know, we've only just started living together. Now you want to get engaged? But she's kind of floored with it. You know, it seems like she's very taken with Kevin. She accepts.
Right.
And Jane Fonda absolutely fucking loses.
Right. And you have like Wanda Sykes is like
Oh
in the
shit.
house looking through the window, and she's like, "Say no, say no, say no."
Yeah, because she knows how fucking crazy it's about to get. You know,
Yeah.
and at this point, J Lo kind of knows a little bit about Jane Fonda's character, Fiona. You know, she knows that like the mom, like he's like kind of explaining his upbringing. And he's like, yeah, well, my mom probably had like what, like maybe 4 or 5 ex-husbands,
Right. Yep. 4
and then
marriages.
yeah, and it's funny because she comes back, she's like, maybe she's pregnant. And so she tries to kind of dissuade them from getting married, and Jayla's like, don't you have like 4 ex-husbands? And it's kind of catty, right? It's a catty thing to say to a mother-in-law. um but no, and so like they end up kind of leaving, and JLo's like, oh fuck, I don't think your mom likes me now. And he's like, no, my mom absolutely loves you. And freaking Fiona is like, Ruby, I need you to get all the dirt on this girl.
Right. Right. And I need you. We got to celebrate with some champagne. So give me the key to the liquor cabinet right now.
She's like, but your doc, no, give it to me right now. I need champagne. And so like, obviously like, J-Lo talks to like Adam Scott and then like the caterer girl, and they're just kind of mulling over it, but they're like happy for her.
Right.
And so like later, later they're fooling around a little bit, and then Jane Fonda calls, and she's like, "Hey, I was wondering if I can call you." Oh no, no, no! They go to a barbecue, and it's simply like just like a barbecue of just the most important people ever.
Right. Right.
She's like
Oh, right. Yes, because she shows up and she's like
underdressed.
very underdressed. Yeah.
She's dressed for a picnic, not for meeting the guy who introduced the euro.
Right. Right.
Or like the guy that opened up a whole bunch of like public schools in Africa. Like these are like super prominent people that she's obviously fucking interviewed in her whole life. And it's absolutely crazy. And so like she's like, "Oh hey, there's a dress for you upstairs. Go ahead and put that on." Meanwhile, her son Kevin is gonna get dressed, but Fiona tries to like kind of mess with him.
Right.
So J-Lo kind of walks in on that because she's having trouble putting on this dress. She's like, my ass is too fat for this dress. Like, and this is like prime J-Lo, right? This is 2005 J-Lo. She's fit. This girl's fit. And so, like, I'm glad they kind of didn't make a whole, like, huge deal about this, because she does end up walking on them kissing, and then Kevin's able to kind of diffuse the whole situation.
Yeah.
And because Kevin's like, because like Jane Fonda, she wanted to put this whole situation together to show that she's not a part of her son's world, but then her son Kevin is like, this isn't my world anymore. My world is you.
Yeah.
Like, like I want to be in the world that has you in it. I don't care about like these fancy schmancy black and white parties or whatever. And so it's a pretty sweet moment, even though he did just get caught kissing another woman. Obviously, J-Lo understands the situation because Fiona was the person that was like, yeah, he's gay.
Right. She even makes that comment.
Oh, he must be gay, right? And so they end up going home, and then like they end up fooling around a little bit. Fiona calls again, trying to mend the whole situation, and they go for lunch. But Fiona's being sort of like the really overpowering mother-in-law. She's like, "Oh yeah, let's do the church. Let's have this kind of china. Let's get this band." And J-Lo's kind of like, she's at her limit at that point. She's
right, because it starts off, it's all like, "Oh my goodness, you're so generous. I can't believe you're like you're doing this much." And then there's so much stepping on toes that it's like, "Oh, I'm not planning any of my wedding now because you've already done everything."
Yeah. So she kind of yells, and then Fiona kind of, I presume, fakes an anxiety attack.
Yeah.
Because when they get to the hospital, this, like, I don't know, Terminator-looking doctor comes. And he's like, well, you're probably going to have to watch your mother and all that stuff. And then J-Lo kind of is like, I'll watch your mom. Because she loves him.
Right.
She loves him. So, like, Kevin has to go away a week for, like, a medical conference, I presume in San Francisco. Meanwhile, she has to look over Jane Fonda, but Jane Fonda is kind of making life hell, right? She's like,
Right, and you kind of hear her plan it a little bit
Ruby.
with Ruby. She's just like, well, yeah, I mean, like if my lifestyle or like can't get my son back, then I will just have to be like so in her face that she
Drive
just
her
leaves.
away.
Yeah,
Exactly, right? And then like the first night's horrible. She's like having night terrors. She like smacks J-Lo in the face.
right. It's like, this is my first night in a new house. I haven't slept anywhere except for my house in years. Could you stay in here with me?
And so for the next couple of days, she's pretty much depriving J-Lo of sleep. She's constantly bothering her. Like J-Lo is like falling asleep at the beach with the dogs, falling asleep at Dr. Patel's office. And then she finally kind of talks to like her best friend, who I presume is the caterer. She's like, she's such a nightmare. I'm so scared. And like she even tries to have a little bit of alone time on the phone with Kevin. Like it's about to get into like a little phone sex territory, and then all of a sudden the mom comes. She's like, "Fuck,"
and then she's like, "Oh, that's Kevin on the phone. Here, let me talk to him." Just takes the phone,
and she's like, "Oh my God, Kevin, there's a house on this block. I think I'm gonna get it. It just says me all over.
We could be neighbors,
right?
Oh, it's got a lanai, or I don't know, whatever she said."
And that's another thing that a spouse doesn't want to hear. Like, I need you to be at least across town.
Right. Yeah.
Not 2 doors down. This isn't a fucking sitcom. This isn't Everybody Loves Raymond. Oh, gosh. So, like, one day she gets fed up and she follows her. And, like, she's like, I'm having such a hard day. I'm going to have to go to my therapist. But all she's doing is shopping with Ruby. She's like, son of a fucking bitch. She finds out the pills that she's been taking isn't the anxiety pills, which like will knock you out. And it is nothing but vitamin C pills.
Yeah.
So she's getting stronger.
Right, and they kind of figure it out because what like the old roommates.
Oh yeah,
are over.
Adam Scott.
And Adam Scott just kind of comes out and he's wearing like Jane Fonda's hat, and she's like, Jane Fonda's got like a whole file on you, and he's like, what? Why were you even in her room? Because this hat is beautiful. And then I walked in and there's a file on you, and I started looking at it, and look, there's pictures of your like high school pictures, and here's a picture of you sitting on the beach.
This is like most recently, and like Ruby tells Jane Fonda, she's like, this girl is clean. She's like a good person. She had good grades in high school. She had a good grades in college. It's just, she's really good, Jane Fonda's like, no, there has to be something wrong. But yeah, so like that's what really prompted her to go and do research on Jane Fonda. And then you find out that the doctor is actually one of her, like, is like her server from like the Blue Ivy, like Ivy restaurant or something.
Right. Yeah.
So now J-Lo's on the counterattack, and it's hilarious because like she gives her like tripe, which is like I can understand for a lot of Western people is it's a very hard dish to eat. If you guys don't know what tripe is, it is the inner lining of intestines, so very chewy. And it's a very acquired taste. Like, I don't even like it too much. I'll have it once in a while, but the way she presented it, no, that's too much. And then she gets the refill for her pills.
Right.
And it absolutely knocks out Jane Fonda.
Yeah.
To where I was like, is this murder? Because like she leaves her with her face down in the soup. And I was like, I think J-Lo just murdered somebody. But Ruby comes, she's like, oh my God, wake up. Like,
right, and Ruby's just like, oh, apparently you got into the liquor cabinet last night.
And it's so funny because like when Jane Fonda lifts her head up, I thought she was gonna be all wrinkly. But like Ruby looks at J-Lo and she's like, oh, you're a lot tougher than I thought you would be. You know, oh, like one little side note, we do learn that J Lo's character is allergic to nuts. But
Right.
yeah, no. So like they end up starting to like plan more stuff, and it's the rehearsal night.
Right. Rehearsal dinner.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of jabs back and forth, with J Lo and Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda kind of makes it all about her. She enters the room, very glamorous. It's almost like Great Gatsby. It's like Gatsby. The way she enters in, she even charms like her friends.
Right. She's all like, "Oh, your catering was so good, and I have a lot of friends, so
Oh,
I free up your schedule because you're gonna be busy."
gee, and like, oh man, when you have a small business, when a
Right.
major player of the city is like, oh, I could supply you with a whole bunch of work,
Yeah.
foaming at the mouth. And then obviously Adam Scott, big gay in this movie. Fiona, gay icon.
Right.
Fiona's a bad bitch. And so like yeah, at the dinner party they're kind of they're having jabs at each other a little bit. I think JLo's kind of edging her out because she invites her therapist. But the therapist, as he's like there, he's working like a server. And
Right,
so
because that's what he's used to like actually doing.
and then Jane Fonda, kind of upset with it, goes into the kitchen with the gravy, and she crushes up a whole bunch of nuts. And
Yep.
Ruby's like, "You can't do that. You're gonna kill this girl."
Right. Yeah.
Jane
Trying to
Fonda,
run her off is one thing, but you don't want to go to jail for murder.
murder's different, but like she like vagina punches Ruby twice. She's like, "I think you dislocated my vagina." But Ruby's able to kind of talk her down from that ledge. But all of a sudden, Dr. Chamberlain comes in and he's like, "Oh, the gravy."
Right, and being the server, he grabs some things and he just brings them out to the table and starts.
And it's absolutely hilarious how Kevin doesn't question, was like, why is Dr. Chamberlain, who, by the way, is another doctor. I feel like if you're a doctor,
Right.
you would do research on the doctor that's treating your mom just to make sure. Like you would ask colleagues, like, "Oh, hey, do you know Dr. Chamberlain? This son does not care."
Especially when he's giving her medication and stuff.
Yeah, medication that he knows about.
Right.
But no, and so J-Lo eats the gravy and obviously has like a huge like allergic reaction.
Right.
And this is probably during the time where EpiPens were $30 a piece and not 120 or whatever, or $400. I think recently I heard they capped that. They're like, no, you can't charge that much for EpiPens. It's fucking illegal. But no, and so like obviously her face is all messed up, and then Will Arnett comes into the room. He's like, "Holy shit!"
Right after her fiance is all like, "No, it's the swelling's going down. No one's gonna notice."
Yeah.
Then Will Arnett walks in and is like, "Holy crap! What?"
Who again is another doctor and should be used to seeing these things. It's freaking Jesus. Will Arnett's bedside manner must be atrocious. And so it's funny, like, so the next day they're having the wedding. It's funny because J-Lo has planned for his mother to be her bridesmaid, her maid of honor.
Right, because once JLo found out that a lot of the trouble was like this plan to scare her off, and she was like, "Well, I'm not gonna just confront her. I'm gonna use it all against her." So like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna push about the wedding? Totally. You should be my bridesmaid.
And
I've got a beautiful dress that I made for you."
And
And everybody knows the bridesmaid's dress is supposed to make the bride look better.
Yeah. And it's peach, which I believe Fiona absolutely hates. Because like you hear her talk about colors, she's like, "No, not peach." But Fiona's like, "No, this is like kind of like where she wants to get her like last, like maybe she can like the last push to drive her out, right?"
Right.
And so like they're getting ready for the wedding, and Fiona comes in white, and it's an absolutely gorgeous dress. And it's just like they like J-Lo's like, she's now at that point where she's like, I think I'm gonna strike you. But all of a sudden comes bursting in Kevin's grandmother. And
Right.
like you notice her when they're like kind of unloading, like guests are coming into the wedding, and you notice her because she comes in like this 1967 Rolls Royce, and she's someone important.
Yeah,
And
and she looks like she's like Queen of England with
yeah,
like the little
old money.
purple like and the little hat.
Yeah, old money. And she comes in and she just starts to berate Fiona.
I
She's like, when oh, she like obviously first she's like, "Oh my God, J-Lo, you're such a gorgeous exotic woman. I'm glad Kevin found you." Kind of like it's like old racism. Like she's like tolerant, but like she's
right.
still a little racist. But then she looks at Fiona and she's like, "Oh, Fiona, stop bickering with this girl. When my son found you, you were just a weather girl in Tulsa, Oklahoma, drinking wine from a box." Just absolute disdain. And now you see like this dynamic switch between them because in this situation, Fiona is J Lo.
Yeah. Yep.
And the grandmother is her. And it's funny because like at that point J Lo's like, "Oh my God, no." Because you don't want to be fighting your whole life,
Right.
especially with family, like people that are going to be, you trade a little tidbits here and there, but she's like, "Oh my God, that's going to be us in 30 years."
Right. Right. Yeah, and it's the first time she kind of like it kind of clicks. It's like, wow, you guys have hated each other since before Kevin was born, and I don't want to have a mother-in-law, especially that's not living two houses down, that I am gonna fight with every day.
Exactly. And so she's like, you win. Right? So she kind of storms off. Ruby comes in and she's like, "What was that about?" And Ruby kind of tells Fiona, like, "You're worse. You're worse than your grandmother because at least like, his mom didn't try to kill you.
Right. Yep.
She didn't try to poison you. She hated you, but she did not try to do the things that you've tried to do to this girl." And so like before JLo can kind of talk to Kevin about breaking up the wedding, she comes back. She's like, "Please, the flower girls are drunk."
Yeah, I know.
These young 13-year-olds, Jesus Christ. And so like they have like sort of this heart to heart. She's like, when I lost my show, I lost everything that I had for 40 years. And now the only thing I have, my son, I'm losing him to you. I'm losing my family. And JLo's like, I just want to have a family again.
Right.
And I thought it would be good with you, but you got all crazy on me and stuff like that. And it's funny because like she's like, "Well, what can I do? What can I do to make it up? I don't want to Kevin to lose you, because you make him happy."
Right. Yeah.
And so like JLo starts to kind of like, lay down some rules. She's like, "You can only call him twice a day, not 7, 8 times that
Right.
you
Right. It's
do."
like a bidding wars. You can only call him once a day. 5 times. 3. 2. Okay.
Okay.
We could do it 2. And Ruby's like, yeah, it's gonna be 2 long ass phone calls.
She lays down a little bit more rules, but she's like, what about like, and if we have grandchildren, you cannot try to raise them how you want to raise them. Me and Kevin will be in charge of raising them, and I will ask if I ever need help, I will ask you.
Right.
She's like, "Fine." And then, she's like, "All right, holidays." And she's like, "Oh God, you're not going to bar me from going for the holidays, right?" And then she's like, "Holidays, plays, special events, games, and all that stuff, you must be present."
Yep.
And she's like, "Oh," like Fiona's like, "Oh, this is very much different than how I thought this was gonna go." And she's like, because that's all JLo really wants. First of all, she wants the person that she loves the most to be happy and have his
Right.
mom still in his life as much as possible. And she also wants she's like, "I want you in our lives. I just don't want you to be
Running
like
our lives.
running. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so they have like it's a super beautiful moment because it's like you want to get all that kind of sorted out before you sign the legal papers.
Right,
And,
right.
and then Fiona's like, okay, fine, and then she's like, help me out of this dress. I'll put this atrocious dress on. and, and yeah, and so like they do the whole ceremony. They're about to leave, and Jane Fonda looks kind of sad because like her son didn't say goodbye. But then he comes back. He's like, you don't think I can't leave without saying goodbye to my mom. And she's like, oh, thank God. And yeah, and then they
And
go.
then when they throw the flowers,
Yeah, oh, it lands on Jane Fonda.
yeah.
I thought like a man was gonna come out of nowhere.
Right.
Oh man. But yeah, we get to the end of that movie. So we're sorry, we just gotta start to go a little bit faster. So we're gonna but we go to our other section, high star, low star, Kobe.
Doop. Boop. So we got a 10 out of 10. Welcome back, Jane. What a surprisingly funny movie. I took my mother to see a sneak preview of Monster-in-Law on Mother's Day, and we had a great time. At first, I thought this film would be average and predictable, but Jane Fonda's performance changed my mind. I'm glad that she decided to come back after 15 years. She did such a great job. I wouldn't be surprised if Miss Fonda was nominated for a Golden Globe for her outstanding comedic performance. It was high time for Jane Fonda to return to the big screen. Welcome back, Jane. Wanda Sykes was hysterical. Her one-liners are priceless. And Jennifer Lopez was actually really good too, as was Michael Vartan. I highly recommend seeing this movie.
And then we have a 1 out of 10. The movie sucks. This movie's horrible. I thought this was pathetic, and I hated it. Absolutely, it was horribly vomitricous. I don't know. It made no sense. It's a waste of time. No sense. I thought this was absolutely crappy, and I did not think J Lo was all that bling bling in this movie. Yes, I said bling bling. This movie was raw and distasteful. I thought Michael Vartan was a slob in this movie. I hated this movie so much. It wasn't worth the penny. The crappiest movie of 2005. Now Fever Pitch, that's a classic. I would pay to see it in 8 consecutive time. I thought this movie was dribble and pure slop. Michael and JLo were horrible in the movie. People would take it from me. This is pure crap. I give it 0 out of 10 if I could. Monster-in-Law. No, I think this movie was pretty charming. I think they subverted a lot of tropes that you probably would have seen in this movie, which I was really glad. Because you see it so often, it's kind of like lost. It's like je ne sais quoi.
Right.
The one glaring issues that I did have was that JLo never found like what she wanted to do.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Right. And it was, I don't know. They played off of that a lot, but she was never really looking for it.
Yeah, but like I just felt like because they kind of made it like a little bit a part of her character. Like when he first goes to her house, she's doing all these things. She's painting, she's sewing, she's drawing, she's this and that, and like obviously she went to design school, so I was like, okay, maybe she'll start like a little boutique or something. I thought that's where it was kind of going. It kind of felt unfulfilled. You know what I mean? Because everyone's like, "Oh, look at you! You got a doctor. Now you don't have to like do all this temporary work. You could just be a doctor's wife."
It's kind of almost where I was like, "Oh yeah, they'll have some kids, and then she'll be a stay-at-home mom." But she's a crafty, fun stay-at-home mom that still walks people's dogs.
Yeah, that'll let her kids paint on the walls.
Right. Yep.
because they end up getting this gorgeous house in LA. This
Yeah.
house is like, if you look at it today, it's probably like $12 million. So
Yep.
that maybe that's what she's
Easy.
doing. She's gonna home renovate. Or she's gonna interior design. But I think I would have liked that because like it's nice to see characters kind of finding their passion as well.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's one of the only glaring issues I had with this movie. I think it was nice to see them sort of bicker. I think I liked it, the fact that like she didn't break up with him in the middle. So she like they have to spend time together and then just come back together later.
Right. Exactly, like you said, like the tropes when she walks in and he's kind of kissing the old
Or Fiona,
ex-girlfriend.
yeah.
Yeah, like I very much expected that was like oh well, here they're gonna break up and then he's gonna have to go and like woo her to get her back, and then she's gonna come back and then mom's gonna be a pain in the, and it was like it wasn't. She was just like, no, this girl's a bitch. I knew this when she told me that you were gay. So yeah, I totally believe that she was hitting on you and that you didn't want.
Yeah, or like they broke up and then the mom saw how miserable her son is. The mom would have to come back and like, I'm sorry, please make my son happy again.
Right. I'm glad they did not go that way.
Yeah, I like the fact that J-Lo fought for her son.
Yeah.
And it was like, also like I think maybe one trope I would have liked is like for her son to know how horrible her mom had been. But it's also kind of nice because like J-Lo didn't snitch her out. She's like,
right.
I don't want you to see your mom in a negative view, which I feel like a lot of people really do in real life, unless you get murdered by peanut allergy. Like, why does your mom only cook things with peanuts in it? And I love pad thai. She could do it without the peanuts. I don't know. What were some of your favorite parts of this movie, Colby?
The other thing was like, even though they were really rich and she was like a temp, I'm glad they didn't play that, because that's a very common thing, that whole like, well, I don't want you here because you're only interested in my son for money.
Yeah,
and they didn't play that.
Yeah,
it was just more you're gonna take my son away from me.
Yeah, I think they played it lightly with like the barbecue, but they didn't focus. I'm glad they didn't.
And it was more of like an insulting thing. It was more of like, oh, this is my son, the doctor, and his girlfriend, the temp.
Oh, yeah, that was. Like I don't know how I could have handled that. I was like, yeah, I'm a temp, and your daughter's the breadwinner, and I'm gonna put a fucking baby in her. That's what I would have said. I was like, yeah, she's pregnant, so you're stuck with me for life. Oh, watch out. Yeah, you don't want her to divorce me. I don't want to get alimony. Oh no.
But I thought Jane Fonda did a fantastic job, and Wanda Sykes was hilarious. Yeah. With just well-directed one-liners, like,
and it wasn't like overbearing,
where appropriately needed.
Yeah, like it wasn't like every time she was in the scene she was like, I have to be funny type of character.
Right. Yeah.
It was like, it's a very well-placed one-liners.
Yeah.
And
it was a little weird, it took me a little bit of the movie to get into J-Lo's character, because like as a temp, and like she was just like, she's like too perfect to be like she should have already had like a career. Like, yeah, she should have been a little homelier, a little messier, and then like kind of like diamond in the rough kind of.
Yeah. Thing. I mean, like, she was good at her temp work. Like, it seemed like everybody loved her, and she knew how to do the job
so super stupid stereotypical. But like she was like, for as pretty and put together as she was like, she should have been a little bitchier than like that. That's that's she had to be like a
Yeah.
plainer looking girl has to be nicer in those positions. And where like
Yeah.
the really attractive girl can just be like a cooch and just
Well, I think like I think well like as far as like little subtle notes were supposed to be is that she was still kind of getting over losing her parents. And I think that's what it was supposed to be like. JLo's not really hugely renowned for her acting. And so I think that's what sort of like what doesn't get conveyed as well.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess like yeah, because like maybe she's like on her path, and then her parents pass, and then it's like I'm gonna try a little of everything while I kind of mourn their.
Yeah, because like at the beginning of the movie you get a little up close shot of her parents like photo.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you go to her, well, like when Kevin goes to her house the first time, or really the only time we ever see her like in their house, like it's kind of a mess.
Right,
It's
right.
like cluttered with so
Oh
much
yes, right.
shit.
Because he was
Yeah.
like, oh, did you just move? And she's like, no, I've lived here for a few years.
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh."
That's. But you said that, and that totally like bothered me at the beginning of the
Yeah.
movie, where it's like she's leaving the house,
Yeah.
and she gives like the little kiss to like the mom and dad picture,
Yeah.
and there's like two candles lit, and then she leaves, and I'm like, don't leave a
Lit
house
candles.
with candles lit.
Right? You never know. Your house might get Final Destination, and then now Adam Scott's dead. Because he's the neighbor, and he's an actor, so he's sleeping at least till 2 in the afternoon.
At least.
Yeah, so I think those are like really. There's only like really small little tidbits that I was kind of like bothered by, because I was like, this movie's an hour and 47 minutes, pretty long. Pretty long. This movie could have been a tight 135, but like I didn't really feel like it dragged at any point.
Right.
I just think, yeah.
There was a kind of a fun thing where like Jane Fonda fantasized about like smashing JLo's face into the cake.
Yeah.
I watched this like streaming, and then kind of like I'm jump on YouTube and I kind of look at people's like reviews and stuff like that. And I found deleted scenes. There is a number of other fantasy scenes like that they ended up cutting out of the movie.
I'm kind of glad that they did though, because I feel like they might have done it. They might have overdone it.
Right, they would like throw mama from the train amount of,
Because I actually like that Jane Fonda had that fantasy at the beginning, and then somewhere towards the middle, J-Lo had the same fantasy of like killing her mother-in-law. So yeah, I think this movie is pretty fun. We're coming up to our hour, so first of all, I want to thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to check all of our beginning of the year months. We have like dump month with all the movie studios dump movies in January and February. We have like what was last year's?
Was that New Beginnings?
New Beginnings month. And this year, trying to stay on theme of like the first month of the year, so that's really fun. But we do our reviews in 4 different sections. We have Stream It, DVD It, Blu-ray It, and the Ultimate Box Collection. Colby, where are you at for this one?
Probably gonna go DVD. I mean, it was fun and it's rewatchable. Yeah, I only lean towards Blu-ray because there was deleted scenes. There's bloopers. There's like some behind the scenes kind of interviews and stuff. If it wasn't for that, I think I'd probably just DVD it.
Yeah, I think I'm the same way. I think I'm around the same. I think this is gonna be like, I think it's a fun movie to share with people who like kind of dread seeing their in-laws.
And it's totally a movie I could like watch with my dad and like my stepmom. Like they would absolutely love this.
Yeah. And I honestly think it's one of J-Lo's better performances and like better characters I've seen her play. And so yeah, I think it's a fun movie. You know, it's very 2000 or mid 2000s kind of just silly rom com and all that stuff. So yeah, but you know, I want to thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to check our links down below where we have all of our social medias.
Yeah, our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
TikTok.
Threads, TikTok, YouTube. We're all over the place.
Yeah,
So yeah, just
I
pick
wonder.
one and follow us.
I wonder what drink the monster-in-law will be. I know I gotta post more on our TikTok. Jeez, I've been super slacking on so many aspects of the social medias.
Yes, the holidays were busy. It was tough to.
It is. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us. My name is Barry,
This is Colby.
and this is Who Watches This. If you guys want to see who does our theme music, it is Lee Rosevere. It's called Arcade Montage. It's on our album Music Podcast 3, and her Bandcamp is down below.
Thank you.